Good morning and welcome to my Monday morning thoughts. It's Monday, it's the 1st of March and a bright new shiny month for us to start. And the question I want to ask you today is, what stories do you tell yourself about your capabilities at work and about your career? The thing is, we all do it. We have stories in our head that potentially link to how we feel about our current work or our manager, people we work with, work that we do. It might be something we did in the past that still affects us, and there's still that story in our head. And quite often it's created from the smallest piece of information. It can be the tone of voice that someone used to us in a meeting. It could be a particular scenario that was uncomfortable, and we've told ourselves a story about that and how we figured in that situation. And what's really important about these stories is that they very rarely see the light of day. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that are these are very private stories. They sit in our minds. They're very rarely spoken out loud, and even rarer are they ever written down, unless someone is being very honest and journaling. They never see the light of day, and they just sit within our minds and often are repeated over and over again. Familiar stories could be, I'm not good enough, and therefore I can't apply for that role because there are people better than me. Or it could be around our capabilities. It could be around a particular session with our boss and how they feel about us, but we've never actually had a conversation about it, or we've never brought it up, but that story still sits with us. And here's the thing. These stories have a huge impact on how we navigate work situations and how we make career decisions or decide on how we're going to move forward. And as an emotional wellbeing career coach, I spend a lot of the early time with my clients, often examining some of these stories. It may be the first time that you've spoken about them out loud, but once they're out, once they've formed into words, or you've written them down in some way, then there's the opportunity to be curious about them. There's the opportunity to perhaps challenge them. And there is an amazing opportunity to rewrite them. Because these stories are exactly that. They're stories that we've made up and that we've come to believe in. And they can really block us from moving forward in how we flourish in our work, how we progress, and how we grow, and how we're fulfilled in our work. So what I'm inviting you to do today is to think about some of the stories that are in your mind around your capabilities in the workplace and around what decisions you can and can't make going forward. And just think how you would like to rewrite those. Be curious about them. What are they based on? You know, where are the facts? Where are the other bits of information that support this story? Or are there lots of bits of information that could contradict this story and enable you to reframe it in a different way? Because once you can do that, then you can move forward. You can go through doors you didn't even think existed. You can take options that you didn't think existed. And you can rewrite consciously those next chapters of your working and career life. But the thing is, we're not taught about rewriting our stories. We're not given the tools and capabilities to rewrite these stories. So when I work with my clients, they get a really safe psychological space to enable them to perhaps share some of this information for the first time, or give it the light of day, and then able to rewrite this narrative and move forward. And the most important point around this story and this narrative that you have in your head is it's often that story that makes writing your CV difficult. Because what you believe and the story in your head could be different to the words you want to put on the paper to write your CV. It can also stop you applying for certain roles, applying for promotion, feeling as though you should be involved on a project, and making that growth move forward. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could rewrite that story that would unblock some opportunities for you and enable you to move forward? So please take some time this week, if you're journaling, to think about some of the stories that you tell yourself and try and imagine some different options, some different stories. Is there a way to flip it round? I'm sure there is. So as March begins and the thought of lockdown easing at the end of this month and the days getting longer, try and rewrite some of your stories so that as opportunities emerge, as they will in the months ahead, you're in the best place to take them and move forward. Have a good week.